Which camera are we? Oh, right there.
And a happy Friday to you, Joe Roderick, and in for Ryan Fagan today. It's Grant Salsman here on STL Sports Central. All content here brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Of course, this is Card Central 365, powered by Gray Bar. And Grant, just how quickly things can change. It looked like a few days ago, the wild card standings, the Cardinals were falling, and now just last night, I mean, all eyes kind of locked in on Padres and Dodgers because the Cardinals could have been in a wild card spot today. Instead, they start the series this weekend just a half game back. Playing the White Sox sure feels like the right medicine.
Yeah, and some of those games were a little too close for comfort.
Ooh,
but
it really, I mean, it's one of like it was a sweep. Like,
yeah,
you look at it, hey, they got a 3-game sweep, but you look at it and you feel kind of dirty about it.
You do a little bit, but good teams find ways to beat bad teams. Yeah. And the White Sox are one of the bad teams, and the Cardinals beat them. Yeah. That is, you wanted to come out with 3 wins, and at the end of the day, it's a major league team. They're gonna if you hang a slider like Kyle Leahy did, pretty much every major leaguer is probably gonna hit that out for a home run. That was center hung slider. So it happens, but major leaguers, they find ways. Good teams find ways, and that's what the Cardinals did. Now you're a half game out. The Reds are also a half game out of a wild card spot.
They're
within touching distance.
They're 1 game back of the Cardinals. So
okay. But still,
Milwaukee and the Cardinals right now had a half game back. They have the same record, and then the Reds 39-36. So they're a game back of the Cardinals coming into this, and
it's a big series either way for them too.
It's one of the, like, a few weeks ago, you kind of looked at the Reds kind of falling off. There were issues with Terry Francona, the Cincinnati media kind of questioning some of the things he was doing. Ownership there has done next to really nothing here recently. They had the big Jonathan India trade this offseason, but we've seen the Reds this year, but it's now them coming into St. Louis, and it's a series where you kind of looked at it a few weeks ago and you're like, all right, hey, they're going to fall in nicely, White Sox and Reds, and now the Reds are on a nice run. You're like, all right, you got to take this a little more seriously.
Yeah, and you mentioned too the wild card standings all of a sudden only a half game out, and you looked at a day ago you were 7 games behind the Cubs. 5.5 looks a lot better than 7, and you're going to have a chance here to really gain some ground this weekend, and obviously the 4-game set coming up.
I'm very excited for that. The 4-game set, I will say, it snuck up on me.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's the end of June.
You're looking at it, you're like, damn, are we ever going to play the Cubs? And then boom, 4-game series right there, Monday through Thursday at Busch with the nice little precursor this weekend with the Reds in town. By the way, it is a 6:15 start time tonight at the so when you're looking at that, when you look at the start time for it, or if you're getting ready to go down to the game, it starts an hour early tonight. That, of course, is because the Cardinals are debuting their concert series this year. Cole Swindell, a massive country artist, playing right after the game at Busch Stadium. So your ticket to the game, you just stick around. Cole Swindell heads Carolina. He's going to be playing right after the game, and then they're doing another one. I believe it's I can't remember if it's July or August. Flow Rider. After the that's where he used to be. Like, he was selling out arenas, and now he's playing after the game. But I would imagine that that'll tend to a pretty good crowd.
I'm actually going to be there tonight.
You are?
And I'm going, the tickets, a friend gave me them. I'm going to be on the field. Can't say I know a lot of Cole Swindell, but
it's good.
I'm sure I know more than I think I do. But a concert on Busch Stadium, I get to go on the field. I'm not going to complain.
I would have gone. Hudson has a game tonight at 8 o'clock. If not for that, we would have been there.
You would have been there?
We would have been there. He's a big Cole Swindell. Actually, his first concert. Cole Swindell opened up 2 years ago for Thomas Rhett. at Enterprise, went to go see Nate Smith and then Cole Swindell, and left like halfway through Thomas Rhett. Actually, like didn't really care much to see all of Thomas Rhett, but I was there for the Cole Swindell.
Well, there you go.
For that. So he's it's a good show. If you go and you listen to his catalog, there's a lot on there that you that you know if you're any kind of country fan at all. So, but that's it. 6:15 tonight is the start time, an hour earlier from their normal Friday night. All of the other Friday night festivities are going to be taking place. If you're up there in the Budweiser Terrace, head on up there and enjoy a nice Friday night for the game. As we kind of sit here, get into some of the matchups and everything for tonight before we get into everything for this weekend. Andre Palante gets the start in the game tonight as the Cardinals went and made an interesting move during the doubleheader the other day as they drop Sonny Gray from his start that was supposed to be Tuesday or Wednesday night. They drop his start and they move him all the way to Saturday now. So you're giving him those extra days rest. But now it lines up with Sonny Gray able to go against the Reds and able to go against the Cubs next week.
Yeah, I was thought maybe they would put Gray tonight and obviously would still be in line against the Cubs. But I don't hate this move either because you got to either way, you get to save your ace and you still won both games. And, he's pitching against his former team in the Reds. Hopefully there's some extra vengeance there. And you don't really need to get hyped up for a game against the Cubs. So it worked in their favor there that McGreevy was kind of able to push everything back. And now I believe Matthew Liberatore as well will be pushed back a day and we'll start on Monday.
And it looks good though that you won both games yesterday.
Yes, exactly.
You don't need to start going with McGreevy. You're never going to go wrong in my eyes. If you
start the All-Star game, you said.
No. I didn't say start the All-Star game. I didn't say start. That is way too much pressure to put on a rookie. Paul Skeens was able to handle that last year. I would never expect Michael McGreevy to handle that kind of pressure. But one day, yes, maybe next year or maybe in 27 in Wrigley, Michael McGreevy starting the All-Star game for the National League, a Cardinal starting the All-Star game in Wrigley in 2027. That's
probably get some booze.
He would get some booze. That would not be well liked, received by the fans up there. But I'll make the prediction right now that it's going to happen. But no, like an alternate, I think. You just kind of put him on there, and if enough guys have to start that Saturday or Sunday beforehand, and then you start to really drop down into the alternates, then I think you tap McGreevy to head down to Atlanta for the All-Star
this year.
This year.
Oh
yes.
yeah, 2 starts. Get him out there.
I think he's got at least one more in him beforehand. I think the way it lines up, you get him for that. I think that's what they're kind of looking at. But
vote for him.
Yeah,
get out there and vote.
But it's a pitcher. You don't vote on pitchers.
Oh, you don't vote on pitchers. Oh,
the vote needs to happen. The vote for Brendan Donovan needs to happen. It's ridiculous right now that Brendan Donovan's fourth in that voting. Ivan Herrera is the best designated hitter in the National League. He should also be up there too.
I agree.
So it's again a travesty that he's not getting the votes for that either. So that's those two right there. Go to the Cardinal website and vote for the All-Stars, Brendan Donovan and Ivan Herrera. With that, back to the pitching for tonight's game and for tonight. Andre Palante getting another start on the mound. I believe 7 strikeouts last time.
Yeah, he looked good.
He was out there. So you kind of go. You start the 3-game weekend series with him tonight and see where that gets you.
Yeah, I mean, both guys today, Abbott and Palante, both were hovering around a 4.5 ERA or so. So I'm excited to see what Palante has. We've seen a lot of ups and downs with him this season. Yeah. When he has the swing and miss stuff, it's really good. It's that he's a pitch to contact guy. And also I feel like we've seen him get a little unlucky because most of the time opposing teams are putting the ball in play on him, and whether it's maybe a defensive play that normally would be made or just bloop hits finding their way down. I don't put everything on that's just been bad pitching. maybe slightly unlucky as well.
He's one of the guys that you have looked at when we sit here and, the jokes that we make about Michael McGreevy. You kind of do look at whose spot he's going to take, and Palante has had that spotlight kind of shining on him all season long. His every one of his starts at this point is going to be under a microscope, I think, for the next month, as you not only shift into, okay, how do we get McGreevy more starts, but also, what do we do at the trade deadline for that too? Because if you are looking at unloading an Erick Fedde, if that's the move you make, then you still need Palante to fill that role as a starter, if that's the case. Or if Palante is just not working out for you, you say, hey, we're going to roll with Fedde. Like, Fedde's our, guy that, we expect him in a 5-game series, a 7-game series. If we make the playoffs, Fedde's going to need to be in that rotation. We're sticking with him. Then, hey, Palante, it's bullpen or it's back down to the AAA for you.
Yeah, I think it all depends on where the Cardinals are come the end of July, because I don't know if you're a Cardinal fan and you're looking at Erick Fedde, and we'll throw Steven Matz in there too. The Cardinals are in a playoff race. Would you rather get the low-level prospects you'd probably get for Fedde and Matz, or keep them and try to bolster up the team to make a playoff push? That's the winning the give and take you have to have, because Fedde and Matz will be lottery tickets you get for. Helsley, if you trade him, you could probably get a pretty good prospect for someone like him. But with Fedde, I don't know if the Cardinals are in contention, if the return is actually worth it.
I'm not. Yeah, that's the Helsley deal is one that I'm very much against at the moment. It's one that I can't justify, even though the struggles that he's had in June. He did look good yesterday, but regardless of that, it's still not one that I can justify making at this point. So that's not one that I'll be on board with as we look at the trade deadline about 5 weeks from now. Hey, Card Central 365 is powered each and every day by our friends over at Gray Bar. And if you're still suffering from supply chain issues and they're disrupting your operations, have no fear, because Gray Bar has you covered. They literally support products of any industry to serve as that vital link in the supply chain, adding value for customers and suppliers with innovative solutions and services. Visit graybar.com to start an order today. That's graybar.com, and fix those supply chain issues with Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Joe Roderick, Grant Salsman, here with you. The Cardinals coming in. Those bats are hot right now. Yeah. The Reds also have been putting up runs in bunches, and we kind of look at every series and look at who's coming into town. One of those where do you want to go get a ticket to watch a certain guy play? And the Reds for sure have that guy this weekend in Elly De La Cruz, who is he's a lot of fun to watch.
He's a unicorn.
Why? What do you mean by that?
I just think with his size and the fact that someone that big can play shortstop, throw as hard as he can, run as fast as he can, hit the ball as far as he can, everything he does, it's like someone that tall should only be able to do a few of those things. Someone that big should not be able to run that fast, play shortstop as agile as he does. I just don't think there's someone with his size, with his skill sets.
He has his flaws.
Yes,
for sure. I strikes out way too much. Does make a lot of errors at short, which is something we don't have to worry about here in St. Louis with Mason Wynn. But it's
although we did make one yesterday.
Everything above and beyond. You put that error on him yesterday?
They put it on him. They put it as a throwing error. I agree. I thought it was on Contreras, but they put it on Wynn.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't realize I thought it would just be an infield single.
Yeah,
I mean, the play that he made, the way that he went to get that, spun through it. I just think you give the guy an infield hit.
I thought so. Too. It might have been changed.
Play to make. We'd have to go. I'll have to go back and see if they did. But with De La Cruz, I mean, everything that you mentioned, like the things that he does, kind of outweigh that. Like you're kind of okay. He might strike out 2 times a game, but then he might hit a ball 480 feet.
Yeah, exactly. Or hit a ball in the in front of the right fielder, it should be a single, and he turns into a double, then steals third.
Like, exactly. Yeah, one of those where, it's like, okay, he might have made an error last inning, but then he just, he got an infield single and then stole second and third. And
and he manufactured a run by himself.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's those things that you kind of look at, and you take the really, really good with the sometime, like, what are you thinking bad on that? And I would love to know just kind of some of the inside baseball type stuff of how he and Terry Francona are. I don't want to use the word clashing, meshing this year.
Yeah.
How they are. How
I feel like there's some headbutting there, maybe
with that, just because you have this old school manager who has been successful in recent years in new school baseball with the Guardians in Cleveland, now taking over the reins at a team down there, and obviously has them winning. I mean, we were talking about it, what they've been able to do recently, the run that they've been on recently to get themselves back into contention it's no small task for Terry Francona to be able to go and do that. So it's one of those where it has been fun to watch, and he's a guy that is definitely worth the price of admission to go out there and know that you're going to get to see a superstar play in St. Louis, and you have two of the best shortstops in the National League going head to head this weekend down there as well. And one of those guys, as I said, Elly De La Cruz, he's a guy that I do like to throw up on the Roddy bombs every now and then. And if you're a St. Louis sports fan, we're deep into the season now, and you should be locked in on every pitch, every play. And that's why DraftKings Pick 6 is your new daily fantasy sports go-to. And right now, for new customers, you can play $5, get $50 in bonus picks at DraftKings Pick 6. It's fun to follow, easy to start, and gives you a whole new way to stay connected to the game. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app today. Use promo code STL Sports. That's promo code STL Sports on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
As we mentioned at the start of the show, it's Palante going tonight. Sonny Gray was taken off the Wednesday start, pushed to Saturday's start for the Cardinals, but now we'll be able to also pitch in that Cubs series. Sonny Gray, he kind of strikes me as a guy very particular with his regimen. For that, and that was one of honestly one of the biggest reasons why I was surprised that he's not pitching tonight, just because I would think it would be more that you would see him have an easier time adjusting or getting ready for like the night game, like knowing, hey, I'm waking up at this time, I'm eating my meals at this time, I'm heading to the ballpark at this time, I stretch at this time for a Friday night game, as opposed to an earlier start time on Saturday for the game.
Yeah, but maybe it's more of, I think maybe he strikes me as someone that it's not as much as the time of the day, but he needs certain amount of hours before. Yeah. So I think with knowing when he's going, I think him being pushed back, he would not have liked to pitch that second game of the doubleheader yesterday. I think that would throw him off his routine.
No, that's absolutely would not have that would not have been the case. Yeah.
So I think he's okay pitching tomorrow during the day.
1:15 start time for the game tomorrow, and not only that too. I would imagine that Dusty Blake, Ali Marmol, the Cardinals coaching staff, I wouldn't be surprised if this is something they have mapped out all the way to the All-Star break.
I would think so.
With his starts, knowing where you can work McGreevy in there with a 6-man start, and kind of having an idea of, okay, whether it's that Saturday or Sunday right before, and then you have him ready to go again, like right after, like that they would have that rotation kind of lined up for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it will maximize, hopefully, Sonny Gray's pitching. He can get maybe they somehow will get him an extra start right before the All-Star break and then right after, immediately following. So I think that's big for the Cardinals to get him a little bit of extra rest, especially with how many days he's pitching 5 days every 5 days.
If you're scoreboard watching this weekend, Cubs and Mariners up in Chicago. That game should have just started a couple minutes ago. It's the 1:20 start time on a Friday afternoon. Tigers Rays, a surprisingly fun to watch series happening this weekend. By the way, yesterday there was more than just one doubleheader. So there were a few doubleheaders in baseball yesterday. And you saw in one of them, the Tigers and the Pirates had a doubleheader.
Yeah, Skubal versus Skeens.
No, it wasn't.
I thought they pushed it to Skubal versus Skeens for game 2.
In yesterday's matchup for yesterday, the first game of it, that this is where I'm going with this. The first game was Andrew Haney against Tariq Skubal, and game 2 was Paul Skeens against Tyler Holton. Rob Manfred, in a situation like this is where he needs to step in and tell these you have arguably the 2 best pitchers in all of baseball, not named Michael McGreevy, that are pitching on the same day at the same stadium, but you're going to alter them on that. That is a game where you step in and you say, hey, you start them against each other.
Yeah.
We're going to put that game on MLB Network, free TV, and we are going to just promote the shit out of it. So we get eyes on the TV watching these 2 guys pitch. And that just, I feel like it's somewhere the marketing department for Major League Baseball, which has such a tough time getting these stars, making these stars visible outside of a handful of them. And you have these 2 that are right there in front of you in a situation that is so easy to make happen. And somebody has to step in and use common sense and say, this is for the good of the game. Like, you're not asking any of these guys to go off of their regimen, off of anything. They're pitching the same day, pitch them in the same damn game. It made absolutely no sense to me why. And you also have, again, like the Detroit Tigers, best team in baseball right now, 20 games over 500, 48-28. So you go to the Tigers, you say, hey, which game are you pitching Skubal? Okay, cool.
Skeens is going to pitch
Pirates,
that one.
Hey, Pirates, you have to pitch him on this. And you pitch him there while he's on your team for the next year and a half or less right now before your poverty franchise trades him away. You had it had to be done, and it wasn't done, and it was just such a misstep by baseball yesterday to have that happen.
I agree. Well, maybe Manfred's thinking, well, you got to see them both a longer period, but over the course of 2 games. I know nobody watches. Nobody wanted to watch the Pirates,
right?
If it wasn't Skeens, and it wasn't getting as many eyes as it wasn't Skubal.
It was so maddening to see. Like I would have been locked if that game.
Oh yeah.
Like I have MLB. Like I can watch all the games, but I mean I would have been locked in if you would have told me, hey, it's Skubal and Skeens day against each other. Like those are. I mean I went to a game a few weeks ago just to watch Skubal pitch against the Cardinals. Like did not care anything else going on there. Wanted to see him in person, see him for myself. There for that. Also this weekend, too, Mets and Phillies tied right now, 45-30 record between the 2 of them. So you have that series going on. The Mets coming off of a sweep at the hands of the Braves. This past week.
Don't let the Braves get hot.
I think it's too late right now.
Might be.
They're 5 games under 500 right now.
They're only like 5.5 games out of a wild card spot.
5 games out. They're 5 games under right now.
It's scary.
They play the Marlins this weekend.
They could win 6 in a row, then all of a sudden
that could happen.
They're good. They're back.
It's a little too late.
I think it will be a little too late. Unless they get really hot.
So those are just a few series to watch this weekend. Also, Rafael Devers welcomes in the Boston Red Sox in San Francisco.
That should be fun. That'll be fun.
I don't know if you saw this or not on social media. I think it's the AA team for the Giants posted a sign in their bullpen telling fans to stop asking for balls. Fans, they said they can't afford to hand any out anymore because Rafael Devers costs too much money.
Too much. Yeah.
They said they have to hold on to every baseball they can now.
It's like $6 a baseball.
Yeah, they can't afford to give away baseballs to fans. So that's everybody's cutting back, and the Giants organization is doing their parts to afford Rafael Devers. Enjoy Cardinals and Reds tonight. Again, 6:15 start at Busch Stadium. Cole Swindell concert in the stadium. Afterwards, your ticket to the game gets you a concert to go see Cole Swindell afterwards, and maybe you'll see Grant Salsman there. And
I'll be there.
You can buy him one of those $5 beers.
Ooh, yeah,
that
please.
they have up there in the Budweiser Terrace. He is Grant Salsman. I'm Joe Roderick. This has been STL Sports Central's Cards Central 365, powered by Gray Bar. All content brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours.